Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. As usual, I am your host, Sellssi. Today we're going to talk about the year 2024 in review. I'm not doing this alone. Lim Joe is joining me over Zoom. Thank you so much for joining me, Lim. 2024, last day of the year in terms of football. What have been your impressions of 2024?
I mean, 2024 has come by really quickly. It's somewhat long and then short at the same time because there are so many things that have happened and then seem to have been forgotten. I think for me, my biggest highlight for the year as a Ghanaian is Ghana really not qualifying for the AFCON, the next AFCON, that's 2025 AFCON. That's usually is what when I think about it, I get confused as to not so confused. I get rather disappointed as to how far Ghana national team of football has fallen in general. So I think that is a highlight. Or like a low light, if I should say it that way. But it's been something that has actually stood out for me in the calendar year 2024 in terms of football for me.
So it's been basically a low light from not qualifying for going to AFCON. Remember 2024 started with AFCON, being eliminated from the group stages.
Yes. I do.
Then we went into a little bit of a high with the All Africa Games. We saw Ghana winning that both at the men and women's level. We went into hiring a new coach, Otoado. In March, he played two friendlies.
Yes.
Otoado played two friendlies versus Nigeria and Uganda. We lost to Nigeria. We drew with Uganda.
Yeah.
We came back for the World Cup qualifiers. And if you look at the stats right now, it looks like it's the World Cup qualifiers. Those are the only two games in 2024 that the Black Stars won out of 14 games they played in. Let that sink in. 14.
Yes. And it's very disappointing
It's
because
crazy.
yes, like you said at the beginning of the year, the AFCON exit,
Yeah.
we exited that with just 1 point out of three
Yeah.
games.
Yeah.
With with teams like Cape Verde, Egypt, and Mozambique, we exited that group with just 1 point. So that means one draw, and we lost the other two games.
Yeah.
And for a team like Ghana or the team like Black Stars, that is really like a huge disappointment to
Yeah, it's
not just Ghanaian African football, because I believe the whole of Africa look at Ghana as one of the powerhouses in terms of football, and they know that
yeah.
certain things are automatic.
Yeah, that's
Certain
true.
things like Ghana competing in AFCON, okay, they would qualify out of the group stages to the knockout stages.
Yeah.
Ghana is playing qualified AFCON, they'll surely qualify for the AFCON. But right now, we are at the point where, like you have said, we've won just 2 games out of 14 games in 2024. The AFCON qualifiers, out of 6 games.
We 3 points. Okay, so 3 points
Yes.
from 6 games, finishing
Yes.
bottom of the group and not qualifying. That's
Not qualified. And that is the record with the likes of Chad, because Chad also didn't win a game. But I mean, it's Chad. Chad is not
so
really
yeah, no
like
one is
a
surprised
football.
by Chad not winning a game.
Yes. Teams like Eswatini also not winning the game. But teams like South Sudan or Malawi, at least they won a game in the qualifiers. And
Yeah.
Ghana didn't win the game. That
So continue.
so it's for teams like Malawi and South Sudan actually at least winning a game in their qualifiers. They didn't qualify anyways, but at least they won a game. And
Yeah.
for a team superpower like Ghana,
Mm,
powerhouse in African football, didn't win a single game. That tells
crazy.
us like how
It's very
low
crazy.
we've actually come.
Falling.
Then there was the stadium ban where it's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
the
Ghana was
stadium ban
actually
as well.
we are not getting a place to play any of the qualifiers, and we have to go to. There were talks about going to
Going
play
to
in
Togo.
Togo or Egypt, or, like all those things. Uh, I don't think so. Like, let me rephrase this. I don't think probably there has been any
I
highlights in terms of Ghanaian football. It's always been low lights. It's
wow.
been low lights. Like,
I was going to go
yeah.
to who you think has been the standout Ghanaian player for you this year in terms of the Black Stars, the national teams in general. And you are saying there's no highlight. So I think you struggle to get someone who has been outstanding for you.
So okay, probably the only highlights, but that was actually coming from last year, and I'm talking about Ghana football in general, would be
Okay.
from the Black Queens
Okay,
because they were able to
qualifying
qualify
for the women's
for the
AFCON.
AFCON. Yes, and then like I mean, have a good run of games. Now it's actually turning into a low light now because the coach Nora is coming to the end of a contract. There have been talks about a new contract, but
And she
still
has
it's up in
rejected it,
the
yeah.
air. Yes, and so we actually don't know if we are going to lose her or not. And now the thing is that if we lose her, we are actually going to be sent backwards in terms of the
Yeah,
progress of the women
progress
football
and development, yeah.
because actually she came in and did a phenomenal job. She's come in done a phenomenal job by actually qualifying these ladies to the AFCON that which will be played next year, 2025. And I think, yeah, she's also stood by the ladies demanding for bonuses and all that, and which some of them have been paid. But then she's tried to get matches played for them. I mean, like friendly matches and other matches, so that they keep fit and all those things. And it hasn't worked out as much as probably she would
She
have
would have
liked.
wanted, yeah.
But, but I think highlights in terms of Ghanaian football is coming from the ladies' side, which is the Black Queens,
Well,
which was earlier in the year.
I would also say that probably one of the shining guys for me has been Jerry Free. He was quite instrumental in getting us the gold at the All Africa Games at the under 20
Okay. Yeah.
tournament. That also took us into the under 20 AFCON. Remember, we qualified for under 20 AFCON next year. It will be held in Ivory Coast in April to May, April
Yeah.
18th to May 5th. So we are going to the under 20 AFCON. Let's not forget that. That's another high point. Jerry Efree has to be one of those guys who has to be mentioned and called out here. I think he's been amazing. Well, throughout the year, he scored on his debut for the Black Stars as well. Otuado jumped onto the pitch to celebrate with him. So I think to look at the high sides, it's few and far between, admittedly, obviously. But
Yeah.
to let's run a bit to the conclusion here. It's been a bad year in general. We both agree
It's
on
been a bad year.
a bad year in general. Looking ahead to 2025, looking ahead to the World Cup qualifiers starting in March and June, and I think it will conclude in June, if not late August. But looking ahead to those two important international windows, what needs to change to make sure that we don't come back here and talk about Ghana not qualifying for the World Cup? Because by next year, by now, we would have known if we are going to the World Cup because the AFCON would already be ongoing. So, what needs to change, in your opinion,
First
next
of
year?
all, first of
Radical
all,
changes I know are necessary, but let me know.
yeah.
Politically, we've
First
gone
of
through a
all,
reset, so we need a sports reset. What needs to change?
all seasons,
Yeah.
I don't know if we are ready for this, but first of all, the whole GFA board needs to go. Like everything needs to change from there. Because if we keep changing coaches, it never really works.
Mm,
We moved from the coach that came back to Chris Hutton. Chris Hutton is somebody with some good pedigree.
mm.
Came to the team and it looked like you know what he was doing.
We're all
Otuado comes
surprised.
back
Yeah.
and we don't know what he's doing. And it doesn't look like, yes, maybe the coaches are also at fault for some of it, but I don't think it's just the coaches. I think it is beyond the coaches. And GFA has a major role to play in that. So
Yeah.
with everybody that is involved in that. I think there should be a reset at that point. There should be like a tear down and a rebuild starting from that point, and then we'll trickle down to all the other national teams. I was saying that
A tear
if
down.
yeah, a tear down, and the concentration has always been the Black Stars. When there are other national teams also to focus on, the Black Queens, the Black Princesses, the Starlets, the Meteors, like all of them are there. They need some level of pouring into
Yeah, yeah,
concentration. Like
yeah.
they need some level of investment also to grow. And we sit here and then we reminisce about the likes of Stephen Appiah, ACN, and all that, without forgetting that these players had played in the youth uh, teams together. So transitioning to the senior team, they knew each other already.
Yeah,
Certain
yeah.
things they didn't practice. Certain things they didn't even practice them,
So
but
we
they
need
were
to
able to do
basically
them
go
all.
back to the basics. No, yes.
Yes, we just need to go back to the basics. But this GFA doesn't really look like they want to go back to the basics. So let's get people in there that are willing to go back to the basics, do the very simple things, and then grow from there. I think that is the most radical change that we need in terms of our football
The
in this
FA
country.
would argue that they've gotten under 20 to go to get to the AFCON. They've gotten the women's youth side to also be doing well. They won the All Africa Games, mind you. They made it to their seventh consecutive World Cup this year, albeit their seventh consecutive group stage exits from the same World Cup. So they would tell you that they have done something in that respect in terms of going back to the basics. But I've seen that the problem is that probably when they get to the national team, when it gets to, or when these players progress into the national team, the same form of development that they are used to, or the same type of systems they are used to, and are sort of abandoned. Look at the Black Stars like this. The Black Stars are not doing well. We go and call in players from other nationalities to come and put them together to play for the national team. I think the problem is with the national team, the Ghana Black Stars, and the youth sides not being progressed well. I don't know if
Yeah,
I'm the youth sides are not
yeah,
progressed well
that's spot
to
on.
reach the top. It's one major problem that needs to be tackled. And yeah, if it's not, we'll come
Because
back
we
here
have,
next year and say, why didn't we make it to the World Cup? It's a possible conversation we'll be having very soon.
yeah, because we have players like Iñaki Williams, Kudus, lots of players, and
Doing
when they
so
go to their
well.
respective clubs, they are doing very well in their respective clubs. But when they come
Back
to
to
the
Ghana
national
here.
team, and it looks totally different. You look at Iñaki Williams and you
Who is
ask
this
yourself,
guy?
is this guy? And everybody's just doing everything that they want
Yeah.
because yeah, they are a star in their own right. See, I do not agree with Otoado, or I did not agree with Otoado when he said that these guys like they're not rich.
Yeah, then rich. Maybe he's not
They're
the
really
one. He's not
rich.
the right guy. He's not the
Well,
right guy.
he's probably not the one to carry them there, but then also there needs to be some chemistry in the camp. There needs to
Mm,
be something that the GFA is also doing to make sure that there's some progression of the younger guys into the team,
team, yeah.
so that then there's some unity. There's some cohesion in the team, but that is not happening.
Yeah.
So, I mean, going forward, the radical change we are looking for is a teardown of the GFA, new people there, new people that know and understand what to do, and are also willing to take the big shots. And I mean, look,
Do what is
the
needed.
end goal. Yeah, do what is needed so that we all
Yeah.
succeed. Because see, if any of our national teams do well in any tournament, the whole country is happy.
Happy, yeah, that
We
one, yeah.
forget about the whole economic problems we have and all that. The whole country is happy.
Mm.
So that's the least I believe they can do for us.
Okay, so it's been a bad year. 2025, your new year wishes for Ghana football.
My New Year wish for Ghana football, like I've already said, the GFA change, Otuado change, um,
Otoado for who?
probably
Otoado for who? Just mention who you want to come in. Or a technical team support, which is what I'm rumoring or hearing will be the case.
would you listen?
Why not? Does he want
Would you
to?
listen?
Of course, you have to listen because things are not going their way now. So I'm sure he'll be forced to listen.
Well, I know so many coaches. I know so many coaches may really be stubborn about their approach to certain things because they believe or they have uh, a way that they know that it will work.
Mm,
So it's very difficult for them to abandon their principles just to take on somebody else's own.
Else's
And
principles.
usually, yeah, and usually when the blame comes, because it comes to them, so they would always want to stick to their
What they
principles
know, yeah.
so that they know that okay, if
I
there's
did it.
anything going wrong, they are the ones to be held responsible. So, well, my wish, I was a bit 50-50 with the World Cup qualifier because I just think that at this point, it's more of like an avenue to waste money that you don't have. We've experienced this before. We experienced this the last World Cup. We never got the budget from the
Yeah,
sports
yeah,
minister,
yeah.
actually. We never got it. We never got a breakdown of that budget. So I always see it as an opportunity for them to waste money and
Money.
all. So I'm 50-50 on it. I would wish, yes, we qualify and then we go and do well. It makes all of us happy. But
Yeah.
the other bit is that because they would go and waste money and all that. So I really don't want them to go. So, like, I'm on the fence on that one.
Interesting, interesting. Okay, Lem, thank you so much for joining me here.
But,
Uh-huh.
but Selassie, before we go, what is your wish for Ghana football?
I want us to win games, win a trophy. I want us to first of all qualify for the World Cup. I don't care what anyone says. We've gotten a political reset. It could trickle down to a football reset or a sports reset. The focus should
I'm
not be
hoping so.
just. I know we focus on football a lot here on this channel in particular, but other sporting disciplines like football, like boxing, like athletics, should get the limelight as well. There are more championships happening next year. Boxing, it's an avenue to grow the country economically. And I hope that the new government or whoever is in charge is going to do something about it. Football is important, but the other sporting disciplines and the female side of football as well, which have been ignored for long. The Black Queens wanted to go and play in a friendly. They needed just $40,000 as budget. We spent
I
about
want to
3 million on players and team that don't deliver us anything in the end. And these are girls that bring us trophy much more regularly than the Black Stars. They need the attention as well. So more focus on women's football, investment in them because they'll be going to the women's AFCON as well. So we need to focus on them
yeah.
as well. It's very, very important. I hope we do the needful and we get to the United States of America, Mexico, and Canada for the World Cup come June 2026. I don't want us to miss out on that, no matter what anyone says. I really want us to be there. So those are my wishes for
I
Ghana
hope you.
next year. And thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Lem, for joining me here. Quite a short
Thank
one.
you for having
A
me, Selassie.
review of the
And
year 2024 and looking ahead. Thank you so much.
yeah, yeah, Charlie. And Happy New Year.
Many happy returns.